Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
You guys, so much going on with DHS, also with the SAVE Act, as we were talking about earlier. Let's go to Professor Alan Dershowitz, the great constitutional scholar. Professor Dershowitz, what is going on with the SAVE Act? The fact that it looks like it's sort of lumbering. Of course, Congress is off this week. But it doesn't seem to have any support within the Democrats. That's the voter ID law. You would think it'd be pretty basic. I don't care, Republican, Democrat. You would think all Americans want voter ID.
Yeah, and I think both sides have to do a better job explaining how easy it will be to get voter ID if this were passed. You know, the Democrats have put forth this theory that if you're a married woman and you change your name, you'll never be able to vote again in your life. And it has to be explained how easy it is now to go and get ID. I mean, obviously, to get into your building where you're working tonight, you need ID. When I visit law firms, I need ID. Obviously, when you get on a plane, you need ID. Now, the ID for the FACE Act is a little different because you need to prove you're a citizen. But we should make it very easy to do that so that nobody loses the right to vote if they're qualified. And if we can make that point, I think the Democrat arguments will be destroyed. And if you look at, what Democrats have said in the past, like Schumer, he was in favor of identification.
Right.
And many of the others were as well.
By the way, Professor, you probably saw this in 1996. I just saw a tape right before the show. It's sort of, we played like, sort of the flashback. But in 1996, Schumer came out and was saying, you need ID, to prevent welfare fraud back then. But now today it's Jim Crow 2.0.
Of course. And of course, there's no doubt in my mind the Democrats are pushing this in order to increase their voting base. This is not about enfranchisement in general. It's enfranchising people who will vote for you. And that's why we have to do a better job persuading the public that this is a no-brainer. Of course you should have to have ID. We live in a world of ID. If this were 50 years ago, by the way, we needed ID a long time ago in many states. But if this were a long time ago when nobody had to carry around ID, it would be one thing. But, since 9/11, you can't live in this country without ID. You can't do anything without ID. And so the step from the ID necessary to get you into a building or a concert or anything else and the ID necessary to vote should be a very, very short step.
Yeah, I would hope so. Judge Weinberg.
Alan, good to have you back with us.
Thank you.
I want to ask you on two pieces of proposed legislation. One is a ban on sanctuary cities and the other is a ban on Sharia law. What are your thoughts about the constitutionality of both those bills?
Well, I think clearly it's constitutional to require cities to comply with the constitutional requirement of the supremacy clause, that federal law is supreme when the federal government has authority, and the federal government has authority over immigration, and the states have no right to in any way interfere with it. Foolishly, Congress passed a law some years ago which wasn't challenged, should have been challenged as unconstitutional, the posse comitatus law. Clearly, they could today pass a statute that said all state elected officials must affirmatively cooperate with law enforcement in enforcing the laws involving immigration. So sanctuary cities clearly can be made unconstitutional. I have no doubt about that. I think the Sharia thing is silly. Nobody is going to enact Sharia law, and I think it's just a slap in the face to people who are religious Muslims. I think we ought to just leave that alone. There's no way the American public would ever stand for the enactment of Sharia law or any kind of religious law. So I would focus, obviously, on the former rather than the latter.
By the way, did you see, and I'm looking at Judge Weinberg here, Professor Dershowitz, a federal judge, this is a U.S. district judge in Maryland, came down and just ruled that Kilmer Abrego Garcia, otherwise
the father of the year,
right, the father of the year, that he can't be re-detained by immigration authorities, saying that they had like a 90-day detention period. It expired. Judge Weinberg and our jaws just dropped before the show on this one.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Look, there's no question that what we've seen is a great revolution of the judiciary since Trump came into office. They have decided they're going to be the branch of government that's going to stand in the way of Trump policies being enacted. And they are going well beyond their authority. Many of the federal district court judges and some of the Court of Appeals judges, and they're ruling on policy. They're doing what the congressional leaders should be doing or executive leaders should be doing, and they're exceeding their role. And I think in the end, by the end of this year, probably the Supreme Court will have taken a number of cases and put some of the district court judges in their place. I wish Chief Justice Roberts would, when he gives the State of the Judiciary message, would focus on the fact that and quote Justice Ginsburg, the liberal Justice Ginsburg, who said we always have to remember that being a judge doesn't give you a mandate to just do justice the way you want to do justice. It's a very limited role under the Constitution. You can decide only cases and controversies by defendants or plaintiffs who have standing. And, we fought that very hard over the years. And Justice Frankfurter and Justice Brandeis and Justice Holmes all were part of that trend of limiting the judiciary. Obviously, it started with Jefferson.
Professor Dershowitz, I want to get in also. There's a couple stories crossing now about Trump maybe getting a fourth Supreme Court justice, sort of rumors swirling about Alito. What are you hearing?
I haven't heard anything. I know Alito. He's a terrific guy. He is one of the nicest people on the court. He's praised me because he said one of the reasons he became originally a criminal lawyer as a prosecutor was watching me argue a case when he was a law clerk. So I was very happy with that.
Yeah, what a compliment. What a great compliment.
I always liked Alito. You know who was Alito's one of his best friends is Arthur Aidala. They're very close, just like Arthur was very close to Justice Scalia. So I like Alito very much, and I think losing him on the court would not be a good thing. Of course, Trump will replace him by somebody who is at least as conservative and probably, in Trump's view, loyal to Trump's policy. So I don't think it would change the nature of the court much. The court would change dramatically, obviously, if one of the three liberals were to leave, but they seem young and healthy, and I think that's a good thing to have a court that's divided. Well,
I agree.
The Supreme Court ruled in a case involving me. You may know I've been suing CNN because they just lied about me, and the district court ruled that they lied about me, that they said that I said President Trump could commit any crime and still not be impeached. And the judge said, he said nothing of the sort, but they ruled that I couldn't prove malice. So what happened is we filed a cert petition, and today the Supreme Court ruled, they didn't rule on the case, but they ruled that CNN had an obligation to reply to my brief. Like CNN said, oh, no, we're just not going to reply. We'll just leave it. And the court ruled today that they had to reply, and that's a good sign.
Oh, keep us posted. Yeah, keep us posted. Interesting. Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so great to have you here.